But the strength and depth of these entry lists for these events is just crazy, because there's no capping system like there is in tennis, so everyone can enter everything. So you really have to be, for me, I have to be careful of what I enter, because it costs a lot to get there. And if it's too strong an entry and it's not worth, by the time I've got to my seeded position, the ranking points don't make sense. And I know there's always that thing of do better then, obviously, but just working it out 6 weeks in advance, that's something you have to consider. So it was between a couple of tournaments in Canada, or not doing either of those and waiting to just play in Europe. And I really ummed and ahed over it. That's the simple truth of it. I am normally really, really good at making a decision and sticking with it. But for this little period of time in the springtime before we get to the end of the season, I just didn't know what to do. I just did not know what to do. And in the way you can enter tournaments on the PSA calendar, you can enter tournaments as far as, like, from when they open, basically. You can enter them whenever you want, but you have until 12 p.m. on the Tuesday, because all tournament entries close on a Tuesday. And then you typically tend to get the draw sent to you on the Thursday, Friday of that same week. You can enter tournaments up until 12 p.m. on the Tuesday. And then there's a 3-hour window where people can withdraw. Now, I actually don't understand why that is. I would prefer it if it was just a 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock cut off to just make your mind up. Because what happens is everyone enters all the tournaments, and then it's just this sort of waiting game of who's going to pull out when. So in theory, I could have entered 4 tournaments, 2 being in Canada, 1 in Australia, 1 in New Zealand. So then you're just waiting to decide which continent to go to. But I made my life slightly easier and just committed to not go into Australasia area, and thought I'll put my name in the Canadian tournaments and then just see. With that, I'm also looking at the European tournaments that close 1 week later, even though they follow on from these Canada events by 2 days.